association with Northern Ireland's further and higher education colleges. We do a lot of work in the area of skills development, working closely with our member companies. And we've recently been invited onto the Northern Ireland Skills Strategy Board to input into a new skills strategy for Northern Ireland. So we're very excited to continue our work with the 6 colleges, and today's webinar is important to help you to navigate your way through the range of part-funded and fully funded courses that are on offer. So for the next 40 minutes or so, we're going to hear from a range of speakers from the colleges to showcase their supports for upskilling and reskilling your current workforce with a focus on innovation supports. We're going to hear a few company case studies which have been collated to demonstrate the supports that have been used that can impact and improve skills throughout the manufacturing sector. And I know you'll all have a lot of questions, so if you can maybe patiently wait just until the last 20 minutes or so, and we're going to field a Q&A session. So if you can pop your question into the live feed in the meantime, then we'll do our best to cover off as many of those as possible. So for now, I'm just going to hand you over then to Leo Murphy. Leo is the principal for, probably doesn't need an introduction, but Leo is the principal for the Northwest Regional College, and he's also chair of the FE Sector Principals Group. Leo, maybe if you could just unmute yourself, please.
Okay, folks, look, good afternoon. As Mary's introduced, my name is Leo Murphy. I'm the principal of the Northwest Regional College, which is one of the 6 further education regional colleges in Northern Ireland. So I'm going to take a few minutes and then guide you through what we have in front of you, which will then lead into a Q&A section at the end. The background of this was we thought it was really useful to strengthen the engagement between the further education sector, which is very strong around professional and technical qualifications, and manufacturing NI. So we hope this will be a useful, not the first engagement, but the one of a number of engagements. So basically across the piece, there's 2 pieces we're going to look at today. Alistair Booth from the Southwest College, one of our 6 colleges, is going to lead and discuss about the whole issue of skills and some of the skills interventions that are currently available that we hope that your companies and participant companies can benefit from. Then we have 2 innovation case studies. So as well as the skills agenda, we're also very much focused on what we call is small R, big D development-based work. And I have Dr. Fergal Tuffy from my own college, the Northwest Regional College, will do a case study. And then Ryan Gwitt, if I've managed that name correctly, Ryan is Industrial Training Manager at CERC. So they'll both give you a flavour of the working on in innovation. And it's important to emphasise that, you know, innovation as well being conducted by the university is also very active in your 6 further education colleges. The nice thing we believe about further education in Northern Ireland is we're very close, we hope, to employers and industry, and geographically we're located well across the province, so you will find a point of contact. So we can take that up at the end. So without further ado, if I'm going to hand over to Alistair, who can take you through some of the skills packages available perhaps for your company to avail of. Thank you very much.
Hello, can you hear me there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thanks very much. Yep. Thanks, folks, and thanks, Leo, for that introduction. Yes, I'm Alistair, and I'm the Engineering Hub Manager. And I suppose the Engineering Hub has been set up by DFE. It's been going a couple of years now, and really the aim of the Engineering Hub is to sort of build on the existing cooperation and expertise that exist within the NI College network to help us develop our curriculum, our staff, and indeed develop our stakeholder engagement and innovation support in line with industry's needs, and also to future scope and ensure that the curriculum is relevant to both industry and learners' needs going forward. Connor, we'll go on to the next slide, lad. Okay, and hit it again, Connor. So, as I said, really we're the collaborative partnership between the advanced manufacturing sector and the FE colleges. That's what the Engineering Hub is. But I suppose in addition to that, the hub brings along the role of the sectoral partnership secretariat. The engineering and advanced manufacturing sectoral partnership has been set up with collaboration with the hub, a range of key employers, DFE and SIA. And really the role there is to ensure that we make the current apprenticeship frameworks and curriculum align with current employers' requirements. So there's a whole range of pictures around the screen there. So as the Advanced Manufacturing Engineering Sectoral Partnership, we cover, you know, the rail, the print, the gas, the water, sustainable resources. Engineering is our core as well. And within that, we have the aero sector and maintenance technical support. So it's a broad ranging engagement of industry and the FE sector in order to ensure curriculum is aligned to the needs of industry and learners. If we flick to the next slide, Connor, today I'm really just going to talk about the two of our really big strategic goals, which is maximising the education, skills and employability pipeline and accelerating innovation and knowledge transfer. So if we go to the next slide, Connor, then I suppose, and I'm probably going to focus more on the innovation than I am on the education and skills just at this moment. But in order to maximise the education and skills and employability pipeline, I suppose the hub, along with the sectoral partnership, is working with a whole range of different employer networks. Locally down here, we have the Get Engineering Hub, our cluster, we have Mega, and within other colleges we engage also, but we also engage with the sectoral partnership, and today and on many occasions engage with manufacturing NI. We undertake skills gaps analysis ourselves locally, regionally, and we also piggyback off the back of a manufacturing NI surveys and other surveys in order to give us direction to where our skills need to be targeted. We also work, as I said, with the sectoral partnership, 30 tier 1 and small organizations coming together in order to give us our time to build and regenerate apprenticeship frameworks in lanes to their own particular needs. And we have done over 13 apprenticeship frameworks in the last 2 years. We have a future scoping role as well. And, you know, a good example of that recently, we have an Industry 4.0 subgroup set up across the 6 colleges, working with industry, working with international partners in order to gel together our knowledge and collect knowledge from others and to share that in a learning platform and to have seminars in order to bring our staff forward so we can react and respond to the whole new world that is already here and will be more embedded in all our companies going forward. And again, we work and align and work closely with development partners with regards to curriculum development. So that's the first sort of side of our story. But if we go to the next slide, please, Connor, then. And just while I have you today, the FE sector, as Leo said, is a broad footprint. And today we're just talking about engineering. And I just want to give you an oversight into the progressional pathways that there are within the FE sector. And we're all very familiar with, if you look at the left-hand side, you do your GCSEs, you do your A-levels, you do your degree and possibly a postgraduate. And that's a very easy and simple pathway. But the FE sector has a much more broad range of mechanisms to bring young people forward on the careers ladder. They may come in at a level 2 traineeship, do a level 3 apprenticeship, articulate to a higher level apprenticeship, or they may come in and do a level 2 BTEC, do a level 3 BTEC, go directly to university to do a degree, or do that via a foundation degree route with ourselves. So we have a really good map there that allows all learners to engage in a progressional pathway right to level 6 in the engineering field. And I think that sometimes is undersold and understood. It is a wee bit more complex than the standard GCSE A-level and degree pathway, but you know, I think it's important to be mindful, not only in engineering, we're doing this across a broad range of skills that are aligned to your business, business, for instance, IT, all companies, whether they're making anything or not, still need those types of services. So I would ask you to maybe investigate the possibilities, and especially when we do look later at some of the funding streams that are available for these pathways, it may be an alternative avenue to helping you to get the skills into your business that you need in the medium to long term. Next slide, please, Connor. So, as I said, the college has a broad and wide footprint, and if you show me the next slide, Connor, then just to give you a taste there, I suppose in my role I have an opportunity to put it all together. We have a careers ladder there within FE, and this is not to say that schools or universities are a lesser pathway, but it's to give parity, should I say. So we have entry level, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6 in a broad range of engineering pathways, may it be full-time or may it be apprenticeship. And folks, maybe you'll take a chance to reflect on this slide at a later stage, look at your geographical area, align to the college that you have, and you may be able to see opportunities where you could place an apprentice or a higher level apprentice on a suitable pathway, whether it's in polymers or whether it's in fabrication and welding or advanced manufacture to suit your business needs in the future. So next slide then, Connor, please. I think you can see then, folks, the story I'm trying to tell you is that the FE sector has the ability to move people forward from traineeships or level 2 apprenticeships right through, you know, the ladder of skills and developmental ranges, in the main up to foundation degree, in some cases degree, and some of our innovation and knowledge transfer centres run postgraduate programs for research. So we have a broad footprint across the province, and we have an educational stairway that will facilitate learners' aspirations to achieve it at the highest level, and will also hopefully satisfy your needs for skills and talent going forward. Next slide, please, Connor. Connor, I suppose I put this wee slide in just to give you a wee bit of an idea of the COVID support that are available for apprenticeships, and without reading it to its full detail, the links are there. But to recruit a new apprentice or HLA, there's funding available up to £3,000 there, and to retain an apprentice under the scheme, obviously there's certain rules there. There is currently £3,700 per apprentice. So, you know, I know it's difficult at the moment. It's hard to know what direction your business is going in under the current circumstances, but there is indeed some very, very generous interventions there available under apprenticeships and for apprenticeship support, and I would ask you to consider those. So I suppose the next slide then really is the core of today, and we wanted to look at innovation and knowledge transfer and how the college network could help and support you and your business. And if we go to the next slide, Connor, then I've done a wee bit of a map across the 6 colleges of their strengths with regards to innovation and knowledge transfer based on projects that they have already undertaken and skills and expertise that they have. And you can see the range there, folks, from AR and VR to reverse engineering, to CAM, to robotics, to hydraulics, to pneumatics, to PLCs, to automations, to business support, business improvement techniques. So we have a rich vein of knowledge transfer skills that are sitting ready in order to help and support you guys. And we're going to investigate some of the funding channels that will allow you to access that support in a very cost-effective way. Connor, if we take a wee look at the next slide, then there's a range of programs. I think I'm going to talk about 5 of them at the moment. We have the Innovate US program, and the Innovate US program will give fully funded 30 to 60 hours of training on a one-to-one mentoring basis, which is 100% funded. and available to companies of under 50 employees. And usually that's focused on developing a new product or service, and that could be broad ranging. And I think that's an excellent way to support small businesses to help them, incubate and launch small to medium new ventures. Next slide, please, Conor. Here's an example of some of the projects under Innovate US, and there has been many more than this, but you can see that there's a CE marking, and there's 3D and 2D CAD, and there's CNC machining and laser cutting, and cyber security and cloud computing solutions, customer relations and management, database setups, software development. So again, the projects that you would wish to support through that funding mechanism are broad ranging, and I'd advise you to speak with your local college, and I'm going to give you contacts at the end if you feel that this would be of a benefit to you. The next program that we have is one that you maybe are familiar with. If you flip the slide, Conor, the SKILLSfocus program. The SKILLSfocus used to be 75% funded. Now it's 100% funded. It's funded for accredited learning from level 2 upwards. And currently some of our HNC and degree students are utilising this funding if their companies have less than 250 people. But in the main, it's used for bite-sized pieces of accredited learning that are directly needed to help support your own industry. Those again are broad ranging, and I would ask you again, if you wanted some free training to upskill, may it be in hydraulics or CAD or in any other area, may it be business, etc., that you would attempt to contact your college with regards to SKILLSfocus. A brilliant program, long running, and now 100% funded, which you couldn't say no to. The next one then, Conor, is the next one, Conor, then, sorry, I'm still trying to do my other job, and I should have had it switched off, but is the innovation vouchers. Innovation vouchers, these are £5,000 vouchers that you can utilise to help develop a product or service, open to small, medium-sized businesses, and you don't have to be an Invest NI client. The great thing about these vouchers are that you can apply for more than one, and therefore it will facilitate a longer journey over the product development. Usually rates about 80 hours of support. If we go to the next slide, we'll get a few examples of the types of things that have been undertaken under this. And click it again, Conor, thinking maybe there's another side to it. So, you can see there what these have been used for in the past. Development of product and services used for new digital technologies used to help in automation and 3D printing, for adapting production lines and solving problems, identifying alternative materials, exploring Industry 4.0 solutions, and exploring new products and ideas. So again, those can be run, one consecutively after the other. The only contribution from the employer necessary is that they have to pay the VAT on the £1,000. So again, accessible through your local college, another great mechanism to help grow, diversify, or lean your business. The next one we have is as well on the menu then is the KTP, the Knowledge Transfer Partnership, and this allows an organisation to employ a graduate for an extended period of time, 12 to 36 months. It's 60% funded, but the support just doesn't end there. The graduate, who may well be involved in a product improvement or cost reduction activity, will be supported in a triangulated fashion with the college in order to help them make sure that their project is a success. The next slide then on that, Connor, sort of highlights the process. There's quite a lot of noise around that slide, but really the process is that you talk to your college with your project or proposal. The college will bring in a KTP advisor and we'll discuss the project. And if the project seems to be a suitable one, then Innovate US UK advisor will help the company develop the project proposal to its conclusion, and will help the company engage the graduate and undertake the project, and the college will support the graduate onto that project. So I think that's another excellent intervention mechanism. We're coming near the end of these, and there's so many of them, and I was really so glad to sort of have a refresh of them myself, because you know, it's some of them are absolutely wonderful. And the next one then is probably the most recent one that's come on the radar, is the Skills Intervention Programme. And the Skills Intervention Programme is open to anyone affected by COVID, and it gives them the ability to undertake training leading to an accredited qualification from level 1 to level 6. So whether it's a company that has an issue in the current COVID environment, or someone who's lost their job and needs to reskill, this Skills Intervention Programme is very broad ranging. You can see the focuses of it there: engineering and manufacture, the key focus, digital skills, leadership and management, green technologies, there's healthcare and life sciences, and there's also graduate placements for women returners. So that is a brilliant process there, and it's a fully funded, and I would again, you know, ask you to investigate your own needs and see if any of them align. There's a great website there, nidirect.gov, which has all the free courses listed on them. And maybe coming near the end now of this, then, Connor, if we go to the next one, in addition to that, there's the Future Leaders Programme. And the Futures Leader Programme is for unemployed graduates, in order to help them make the transition into the world of work. And it is a paid training allowance in parallel with the opportunity to take an ILM, a level 5 certificate. So that's a wonderful opportunity, because as well as that, it gives them a placement with an employer, you know, to undertake a business improvement technique. So again, those programs, and that one in particular, are to be commended. If we come to the last slide, or near the last slide, Connor, so just to sort of recap, there's a lot of information there, folks, and I don't expect you to digest it all at one time. But just to give you an overview, you know, how can we help? We can identify funding support that you need, all right? We can help you with new improved products or services. We can undertake research on your behalf. We can provide one-to-one mentoring, and we can provide bespoke accredited training, as well as providing apprenticeships and higher level apprenticeships, all in the main at no charge to yourselves. And I think it would be wise to investigate one or many of those channels. If we just recap then for the last slide then, Connor, thank you. To put it all in one page, we have Innovate US, all right, which is the one-to-one mentoring, the SKILLSfocus, which is the free accredited training, level 2 and above. We have innovation vouchers, which are the £5,000 vouchers for small to medium-sized companies for new product or service development. We have the Skills Intervention Programme, that's open to anybody affected by COVID-19, company or person alike, with free training from level 1 to 6 from a bespoke menu listed on the website. And we have the KTPs, the graduate opportunities for the extended projects, with that support from the college, which is covered by 60%, and the costs are covered for a company, and indeed the future leaders. And there's a lot of information, and just to sum it up then at the end then, Connor, there are the phone numbers. Oops, yeah, those are the phone numbers for each of the 6 colleges to take you through to the business support sections, and those will be available to you at the end of the seminar today. And I think I'm going to hand back to Leo or Mary, and if there's any questions, perhaps we could reflect upon them now before Fergal gives us an insight into what some of this stuff really looks like on the ground when it's actualized.
Thank you very much, Alistair. That was a very comprehensive presentation, as always, to give everyone a feel of the strength and depth of the further education sector. And also, I think, to realise that there are local points of contact. That is the strength about further education. It's at your doorstep across Northern Ireland. There's a campus, somebody once said, no more than 20 minutes or 30 minutes or maybe from your business, and that's vitally important. And those of us believe very strongly about the sub-regional piece in Northern Ireland. I think that's good as well to see that activity taking place. I think the strong point as well to pick up from Alistair is perceptions that further education college is all about skills. Further education colleges also have a very important role to play in that innovation piece, which you will now go to work you through. Mary, did you want to take the Q&A more so at the end around this piece and just go straight into the 2 innovation presentations?
Yeah, I'm just trying to encourage people to ask questions. I'm sure people have loads of questions.
Yeah,
So
okay.
please.
So what we want to do now is to give you a feel on the ground. Alistair's been very comprehensive about the overall picture, and naturally you may want to pick up and take a look at what intervention fits for you. And we hope this is the first of a number of engagements with Manufacturing NI and its client base. What I'm going to do now is take you through and hand you over to 2 technologists that work within the further education sector, talk you through two case studies where these interventions have helped, by and large, small micro manufacturing businesses to move forward to the next stage of innovation. So again, it isn't always about blue skies research. For many of the companies that contact further education, it's about that first step into innovation. It's about the idea, maybe the product development, whatever that concept is, to help move it on. So I'm going to hand you over. They're both going to run back to back. So I'm going to hand you over to Dr. Fergal Tuffy from the Northwest Regional College, and then I'm going to hand you over to Ryan Witt, who will work through from that in terms of CERC. And then obviously I see according to that Stephen and others can pick up a piece at the end. So over to you, Fergal.
Thank you, Leo. So as Leo said there, we're going to give a brief overview of some examples of case studies of support that we've provided to businesses. And really and truly from the business perspective, I would say start off with your wish list in terms of challenges that you have within your business or support that you require. And then hopefully between us and the college network that we'll be able to support you and answer those needs and requirements that you have. So if we move on to the first slide that I have, please. So as Alistair has shown there, there's a wide range of support, and often from a business perspective, you look at it and you could quite easily get lost and confused. And that's where I suppose as I emphasize in terms of starting off with your challenges and your problems and your wish list from the business perspective, whether it's from building awareness, then developing capacity, and right up to applying knowledge such as the KTP program that Alistair touched on also. So if we move on to the next slide, please. So the first example of a case study is an engineering business who we have supported from Dungiven called Macon. And they wanted to, I suppose, enhance what they do in terms of they convert containers, and they have been very successful in terms of getting contracts such as Twickenham and the various rugby grounds in the British Isles. So we supported them, I suppose, in terms of the Innovate US program, in terms of CAD design and rapid prototyping of the small models that you can see there. And then utilizing these small models, they were able to take them to business pitches that they had. And thankfully, we're able to get contracts with these organizations for their container products. Then we also, I suppose, again, worked with Macon in terms of taking that further on an innovation voucher project for a further product innovation that they had in a different area. So if we move on again, please. Cinch Labs are a small company based in Coleraine. We're a dental lab, and where they were looking to develop and manufacture medical devices. So again, we worked with them through the Department for Economy Innovate US program, where we did one-to-one mentoring on new product development, 3D CAD, and rapid prototyping. where I suppose we were able to develop some 3D prototypes that they could get manufactured and produced in our 3D print equipment in the college. And then we're able to go and take that product to the market. And it's now been used in clinical trials in the Blackrock Clinic in Dublin. And it's also been, they've taken it to America, to the American market as well. And that product is going very well. Like, so moving on to the next slide. Global Tech are a small engineering firm based in the Northwest. And we worked with them again through the Innovate US and Innovation Voucher programs, where they wanted to develop a new A-frame product for lifting heavy loads. So again, we leveraged the funding support through the Department for Economy and Invest in A to give them the skills in 3D CAD design. And then through an innovation voucher, then we actually manufactured one of the A-frame products to prove its viability. And I suppose key to point out as well that as part of the design process, we did stress analysis and design for manufacture, so they could stand over the designs that were created in terms of the lifting load that the device could carry. So again, moving on to the next one, MIM, again, they're based in the outskirts of the city of Derry, Londonderry, and we worked with them on a recent project where they wanted, I suppose, to look at design for manufacture of a bench that they had the idea for around the Peace Bridge in the city. So again, some of the key requirements were, I suppose, manufacturing considerations and also, packaging considerations they had. So again, we worked with them and got their requirements and looked at the designs, doing stress analysis, and doing a full bill of materials and CAD files for them that they can go and then take and utilize as part of the manufacturing process. So again, this is a project that was turned around quickly to meet the business needs. So if we move on again, and again, please. So Coastal Core, these are two companies, Coastal Core and Porter Bathrooms. So Coastal Core, again, just to show the diversity of the types of projects that we do. Coastal Core, I suppose, provide training and first aid support. They're based in Limavady, and they required support in terms of developing a new Resusciani first aid type product, targeting the younger generation and the primary school market. So again, we worked with them in terms of design and illustration of a cartoon and an animation type product that they wanted to develop. We developed this child-friendly type new product, which they've now manufactured and are able to offer to schools as part of a training program. And then as well as that, I suppose there's also a character behind it, which again, it's the target market that the company wanted to go after. So just showing the diversity of the support that we were able to provide. Porter Bathrooms are a company based in Keishan, Fermanagh, and wish to develop a new bathroom range. So again, we worked with the company through Innovate US and Invest in Ireland Innovation Voucher to give them the skills in terms of 3D CAD design, develop a prototype, as you can see there. And then since that, we supported them to apply for and successfully attain Invest in Northern Ireland and Innovate UK KTP funding, which has recently started. And now a graduate has been recruited to work on a new water efficient range that the company have ideas for. And we'll support them from the academic and knowledge perspective in terms of the likes of fluid dynamic analysis for the designs of their new product range. And then also in terms of support them to implement the manufacturing process required then to bring the new product range to market. So we move along again. So A Global are a company based in the outskirts of Derry, Londonderry. And I suppose, again, this is just showing the diversity of needs of businesses. So A Global wanted to develop a new type of an IT platform that could track their product and their manufacturing process from start to finish. So I suppose over a number of years, we worked with the business to develop what they call DELA, so a database of engineering and logistical analysis, which is a cloud-based IT system that tracks everything from their raw material and where they're purchased from and heat search for their raw materials right through to when their piping systems are manufactured and installed on site. So this was a 2.5 year KTP project funded by Innovate UK and Invest in A. And the project has been very successful in the fact that A Global, since the outset of the project, have grown, thankfully increasing their sales by over £2 million. And they feel that this system has given them a 20% efficiency saving on their analysis, and been able to go and look at where their production is, and then also in terms of saving simple things like saving time on drawings, the amount of drawings that need to be required, and also in terms of staff and reducing human error and things like that. So this work was mentioned and published in a UK parliamentary review, and also was awarded an outstanding grade by Innovate UK. So I suppose it's just showing the depth of support that the colleges can provide. And again, it is depends upon the needs of your individual business. So if we move on as we draw towards a close here now. So again, those are some specific examples. Just to touch briefly on other example areas of support. So as I mentioned, it could be new product development, 3D CAD design, the likes of stress, flow analysis, fluid dynamics. Across the college network, we have a wide range of 3D printing and rapid prototyping facilities. If it's just a case of making a small physical model of your product before you actually go to manufacture. Then Alistair also mentioned about augmented and virtual reality, and this could be something that you and your business are looking to look at for the first time, and where we could support you to do that. So on the right hand side there, you see, for example, some augmented reality that was used with a client who we work with, where it was able to use augmented reality of the labels of their product to launch care manuals for how their product should be looked after. There are other things, IT, app development, data analytics, product animations, for example, in terms of could be looking at workflow or product flow, and then the likes of electronic design and prototyping. And then I suppose understanding the range of businesses that manufacturing NI have under their umbrella. Again, we work with businesses in the food and drink sector too, from a product development perspective as well. So I suppose I hope it's just to give you the sort of broad breadth of practical and technical support that we have within the college network, and very much hands-on, sleeves rolled up, and manufacturing focused. And we would say to come and talk to us. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Give us your wish list, and then we can work with you and give you access to our state-of-the-art facilities also to help enhance and develop new products for you. So,
thank you, Fergal. So I'm going to hand over to Ryan. What you probably found is a cluster of case studies that have been in the northwest of the province. You've probably seen a cluster of case studies in the southeast of the province. And what we've indicated is this is a skill set that exists across the 6 colleges. So what you've seen Fergal talk about is replicated across the province. And so wherever your nearest point of contact is where you can actually find similar type of case study work. So I'm going to hand you over to Ryan now. And I imagine, Ryan, a lot of your case studies are possibly in the southeast.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm Ryan Wilt. I'm the Industrial Training Manager in Southeastern Regional College. And just sort of similar, I'm going to run you through a few examples of projects that have been worked under various different funding streams. So if you go to the next slide. Okay, so this first one was a company, Dream Designs NI, who designs and builds custom sliding door wardrobes. And this was a bit of Innovate US funding. So they came to us and availed of 30 to 60 hours worth of one-on-one mentoring. So previous to come to us, they had no prior 3D CAD experience. And within the 60 hours, we were able to take them to create, as you can see here, some high quality photorealistic renders. But not only that, the image at the bottom shows a sliding door wardrobe they would manufacture. And we were able to model those up. And they are parameter driven parametric models. So essentially the height, the width, how many shelves are inside it, how many rails are all driven off an Excel spreadsheet. So we can go to a customer, size it up, see what units they want inside, put it all in an Excel spreadsheet, and it'll spit out the CAD model. So you'll get your bill of materials, your cut list, anything like that. So it's a very efficient workflow we're able to create. But not only that, the fact that he was able to go ahead, develop these skills and create these 3D renders has allowed him to bid for a lot more high value jobs. He's been successful. So the one above there is a walk-in wardrobe. He's able to completely model that up for a customer and sort of put whatever units in to meet their needs. After the CAD side, using a piece of software called we used Autodesk Fusion 360, which does CAD and CAM. So not only were we able to create the CAD models, but using the CAM, we were able to spit out some G code for CNC routers and mills. So sometimes there's grooves and pockets that need cut into different bits of wood after the cut list. So really efficient workflow we were able to create for this company. The customer's really happy, they're really happy. So all the way from design, using as simple as a spreadsheet to spit out your full model, all the way through to high quality renders, and doing CAM for his CNC routers. So that was Innovate US. That was 60 hours worth of funding he was available of. So next slide, please. Okay, next bit of funding I'm going to talk about is SKILLSfocus. So this is a fully funded program for SMEs. I'm going to talk about the Siemens Mechatronic Systems Certification Program, or SMSCPI for short. And it's accredited by Siemens, and it is available under the SKILLSfocus funding. So in Northern Ireland, we're able to offer the level 1 and 2. We've had guys sent over to Berlin to get trained up and deliver the course. So it's an industry-focused training program that has been designed to meet the increasing demand for highly skilled technicians within the manufacturing engineering sector. And it's all taught using Siemens methodology, which is integration of hands-on learning in the classroom, mechatronic subject areas, systems approach teaching methods, and systems-focused troubleshooting. And the level 1 course itself is broken into 4 units. So electrical components, mechanical components and electrical drives, electro-pneumatic and electro-hydraulic control circuits, and digital fundamentals and PLC, and there's a bit of PLC programming in it too. So it's all about taking away sort of demarcation of a spark or a fitter and trying to incorporate them all into one. So we have a lot of maintenance guys from agri-food that would come in and do this, or machine operators, even sales guys who need to know a bit more about the hardware and software that they're selling, to see where it fits into their customers' workflows. So next slide, please. Okay, so after completing the course, a Siemens Mechatronic systems assistant will be able to localize malfunctions, identify causes and sources of malfunctions, correct the malfunctions where possible, and/or document them and pass them on to the appropriate experts. So this is all about getting machine operators or a fitter or a spark to be able to understand the full mechatronic machine that they're working on, and increase communication between different sectors. So, you know, you're able to troubleshoot a lot faster and decrease your downtime. Also be able to recognize potential or impending malfunctions, perform routine and preventative maintenance, understand and explain the principal operations of the mechatronic subsystem in a complex system. So it's all about understanding the system as a whole, understanding pneumatic components, hydraulic components, sensors, electronic drives, getting a real sense for the system as a whole. Reading and understanding technical documents, working effectively as a team member, and being able to understand and implement safety regulations when required. So next slide, please. So here's just an example of some of the local companies that now have SMSCPI certified assistants. So the likes of Moy Park, Montupay, Sinesta Technologies, Spinnebrook, AB Pneumatics, Plastics 2000, and Norbrook, just to name a few. So next slide, please. Okay, next bit of funding then will be an innovation voucher. So as has been described just before, it's a £5,000 voucher that you can use for product or concept design or process development. So this is an example. A customer came to us to do a design concept of a mobile venue. And with these vouchers, the college does the work, but it's in very close collaboration with the customer itself. So there's a lot of meetings throughout this, and there's a lot of research conducted as well. So there's a few renders there you can see. It was a trailer that expands out, becomes a mobile venue. And he was wanting it for weddings in beauty spots around Northern Ireland and the rest of Ireland as well. So there was a lot of technical research, electrical systems research, legislative research, the initial concept design development, concept refinement, final CAD renders, and a handover package, which he's been taking on to investors now. So if you go to the next slide, there's a few more renders just to give you a feel for it as well. So like I said, working closely with the customer, he wanted a couple different setups. He wanted to see what it would look like for a wedding. We were looking into legislation for, you know, maximum occupancy within it, as well as if it was going to be used for conferencing and the likes of that. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, this one hasn't been talked about just yet, but it was a fusion project, which is funded by Intertrade Ireland, and it's very similar to a KTP, except there's a cross-border aspect to it. So this is a company in Dublin who design and build roof lighting and exhaust systems. And they had no 3D CAD in the company before. They were all completely 2D AutoCAD. So just a quick bit about the Fusion program itself. It places a graduate in a company to overcome a significant problem identified with the support of an academic and an educational institution. So the program has a cross-border aspect, as I mentioned. So it'll see Northern colleges as the academic providers matched with the business in the Republic. Whereas for yourselves, it would be the reverse. So you'd be linked up with a college university from down south. And they are 12 to 18 months. So very similar to a KTP, except the KTPs can be longer. The aim of the project was to improve the production processes and allow the company to more rapidly respond to an increase in order levels. So this involved the investigation and implementation of 3D CAD. Not only was the CAD implemented as well, but it was also, from the CAD, they were able to create the cut lists, bill of materials, engineering drawings, all for the workshop floor. So it was a whole change of their process too, so streamlining their process flow. We've been looked into some lean methodologies on their manufacturing floor. So on the right there, you can see some of the renders that have been created for some of their models. So previously, they'd be handing customers 2D engineered drawings, which might have been a bit much for someone who's not technically minded to look at, not being able to visualize it. So the fact in board meetings, they're able to show these renders to their customers, they're getting a better idea of exactly what they're getting. It's increased customer satisfaction as well. So next slide, please. Hit it again. Oh, there's a wee bit missing there, but essentially all I was saying was that this is a 12-month project, and there was about 20 hours a month that the academic was down with the company, and that was doing the CAD mentoring company-wide and with the graduate, and also implementation of some lean manufacturing methodologies. And the thing about these projects is they may start as one thing and end up expanding as they go. Because if it's 12 to 36 months, you may feel other things popping up. So we ended up looking into an ERP system, Intact IQ, which we helped them implement as well. So next slide. And this is a bit of an example of just this innovation escalator that had been mentioned. So company EcoHog, they started off availing of the 30 to 60 hours worth of Innovate US mentoring, and they used that to develop a bulk density calculator. They then moved on from there and were awarded an innovation voucher, which they used to do some FEA on some of their critical components. So FEA, using a bit of software, you're able to simulate stress, strain, failure points, and stuff like that. So they were able to analyze a lot of their different components. And from there, they went on to a much bigger project, the KTP, which has been discussed, where they designed a brand new air separation unit. So quite an intense project. So just to show you there, you can go, you don't just have to avail one of these funding streams. There's the escalator, you can go through them at different stages. Next slide. So yeah, just as I'm sure everyone else has said, you know, get in touch with your local college. There's funding out there. There's a lot of different projects that can be worked on. So I encourage you to get in touch. Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, thank you very much indeed to both Ryan and to Fergal. Fergal's had to head on to another piece, but I hope what we have done there is a process and working closely with manufacturing NI to dispel some of the mythologies about what colleges actually do and the contributions that they make to innovation. Sometimes it's perceptions of the university have a role to play. The 6 regional colleges who are investing substantially in their estates as well, to let you know. I mean, those of you that are based around Armagh, there's a new Southern Regional College of a new campus opened in Armagh. For example, a new campus opened down Bridge. Southwest College shortly to open a new campus in Enniskillen. There are 2 new build projects at an early stage, one in Coleraine and one in Ballymena for Northern Regional College. So you're coming into quite state-of-the-art estates. You're coming into high-quality technical people that we brought into the sector in the past number of years to help engineering. So I hope that gives you a feel. We selected 2 colleges. Alistair gave the overview from the centre, from the southwest, which is a strong manufacturing engineering, but to give you a feel that you can knock the door of any of your 6 colleges. And even if that service or some of that specialism isn't in one, we have a very mature relationship to direct them to a college where that's in. So I'm going to hand you back to Mary, I think, according to the script. All right, Mary.
Thanks, Leo. And yeah, thanks a million to all those speakers. I think they really did a great sales pitch for the colleges. I think there's definitely something there for everybody in terms of the wide range of courses. And I really like the visuals, Alistair. You know, I've saw some of those visuals before, but those visuals are really, really strong and just in highlighting that learner pathway and the different qualifications you can get. So I think that's been really useful, because when we speak to our member companies, a lot of them can, you know, they can find it very difficult to navigate their way through just kind of the wide range of programs. And certainly today it shows just, I mean, some of them to be honest, I haven't heard of before. But you know, this is a really great presentation, and we'll be sharing this to members of our network. Please, Stephen, do you want to add anything to that before we go into Q&A?
Thanks, Mary. If Leo could come back on, it would be useful. Leo, in terms of the people engaged, so on the innovation side, in terms of the people engaged through the college network, what's their type of background? Are they academics? Are they people that have worked in industry? Are they people that have been in business themselves? I mean, culturally, there's always a gap between and industry.
I tell you, in terms of the technical consultants that we brought in, by and large, we tend to support the industrial piece with technical consultants. So they could be coming in, they might be a recent postgraduate PhD. Most of them are coming in with particular specialisms and backgrounds in industry that gives them the competence to support the companies. We do have some of our academic staff support particular programs. For example, that A&E Global project was supported by an academic staff. I suppose some of the history, Stephen, had been, you know, you went to try to get an academic in a college or university, they were busy with something else, can't work, it's July, August, get back in September. I think we've broken all that mythology now. If you contact the college directly, we'll be expecting a very quick, swift response. You'll be put on the escalator of support and you've seen the kind of outcome. So I think culturally we've moved on beyond that, and we have a very sharp business focus as to what we do. All our technical consultants live in a target orientated culture that they have to support. I think, for example, in the Northwest, we have about 23 technical consultants with a variety of skills, from virtual, augmented, across to manufacturing engineer, across to the piece. So what we have found, Stephen, is since we built capacity as a sector around this, we've attracted more people with more skills who a generation ago may not have thought of working in a further education college. I think we have a big piece to do to break some of the mythology traditionally, but you know, we're very proud to be called the tech. It means we're technical colleges, and I think a strong economy has got technical colleges at the centre. So we're hoping, you know, in our modernised estates, in our business development units, and our core curriculum coming behind it, that, you know, we really need to be at the centre of a lot of the decisions. What we would like probably out of this, Stephen, is in some way maybe even to develop a form of MOU with manufacturing NI to show our commitment towards working with your firms, and maybe some of your firms that were within the case studies. But you know, we do believe we're out. We have moved to make impact across our colleges. Elaine chairs our business development group, so all 6 colleges sit on an economic engagement group, and we report quite regularly back into government. So we've had a challenge, I suppose, to convince our own parent department historically that we're in the innovation space. I think we've broken that, and we're in a different space from the universities. We're not really, we'll push you up that escalator to the university if you're due to do a piece of blue skies research, but there's lots of small companies, Stephen. It's about those first steps in innovation. As you saw some of those many case studies that Fergal put up, that company, and it's an idea. We're now able to go and tell, you sign a non-disclosure agreement, all that stuff is protected around you, and we're there to support you and to move you on. I think the case studies are a testament to the work that's being done.
And just on the back of that, sorry, Mary, just to finish the thread there. I know your own college has just won an award recently in terms of its engagement with business. What does that say to the people within the college, but also the people that may be watching online at the moment?
Well, at the moment, in terms we compete at and other colleges across, and we always speak collectively. We're very conscious. We're a sector of six. We may have, like many sectors, their own particular views of the word, but all our colleges have won awards. The award we won recently was the Times Ed Supplement, which is basically recognised as probably the lead college in the UK for economic engagement in this year's awards. We beat off Manchester College, we beat off Leeds, we beat off Reading, we beat off some very big players for a small regional college in Northern Ireland. And the bottom line, the citation said it about the impact that we were making. Many of the English further education college sector focus predominantly on skills-based training because of the nature of their sector with big employers. When they come to Northern Ireland, we are light years ahead on the economic engagement piece. I mean, colleges from Scotland, England, Wales are coming our way to take a look. And to a certain degree, we learned a little bit from the Institutes of Technology in the Republic as to they became kind of local hubs. So certainly, I mean, the Northern Ireland colleges, when they're regularly visited, are seen to be very much cutting edge on their work around industry. And I think the key thing for us, Stephen, is to say, you know, if we've got that good industry face, you see those case studies in the firms, those technical consultants go back into the lecture theatres and do case study work with the students, so the students themselves get to know what a real job looks like at the end of the piece.
Excellent.
Just on the cutting edge piece, it was evident all the case studies that was presented today that, you know, you are really at the colleges are, you know, leading some of the cutting edge and delivering programs on cutting edge technology. Yeah. But a lot of companies are kind of anxious about making the investment in some of these industry 4.0 technologies like the 3D printing and even around the audio visual and augmented reality. Can the colleges provide an opportunity for companies to go and test those technologies and apply them to their particular business need without them making that initial investment?
I'm gonna defer to maybe Ryan or Alistair on that one, because that's quite not saying I don't do the operational stuff, but Ryan or Alistair, do you want to pick up that question from Mary?
Well, I'd let Ryan, but you know, I think all the funding streams that we've looked at in the main, a lot of them will allow that incubation of new technology and, you know, take the costs away so that you can try it and you can see if it works and if you see if it helps to develop your own organization, and then, you know, at a later stage you could invest in it yourself. But, you know, we're an open door. The technology that we have, we share. And we're very well, you know, glad to share it through funding mechanisms. It's good for us as well.
Very clear.
My first experience of really getting my eyes opened about the capabilities and the tooling and the equipment that the colleges have. We were it was the Northern Regional College, and there was a robot sitting pressing an aircraft seat for 12 hours a day. And I was, what on earth's going on? He said, that's a critical part of the testing for some of our aircraft seat manufacturers to prove the durability of the stuff that's been made. He says, we have the robots. We don't use them whenever the college is closed. So when we shut down, we set the robot off and it presses on that seat 1 million times over the next number of weeks. And I just showed that it can be something really small and practical, but really beneficial in terms of product conformity assessments that are required, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or it can be that big project.
Fergal gave an example of the anti-snoring device, which, contrary to popular rumor, I'm getting one for Christmas. My wife's put an order in for one. She doesn't realize I put one in for her as well. But I mean, there's an example of a dental practice engaging with innovation, seeing an opportunity, and possibly wouldn't have found their way into the university. It might have fitted into a research piece. So that early first step stage innovation, and we get back to strengthening our view of the world in productivity, Stephen, it's like innovation is everybody's business. And when you get dentists coming with innovation to you, then you know innovation is starting to become everybody's business, as opposed to a kind of, you know, a piece of research for large multinational companies. And this, we feel we have occupied a space in here as a regional colleges to be able to contribute to companies around that.
Yeah, I was just going to say then, in terms of the capital purchase of those particular technologies, then that Innovate UK and Invest NI funding through the KTP, you know, I think companies think that that's very inaccessible, but through the colleges you can work with the company.
Any of our machinery product prototyping across that is available for clients. That you know, we're a public service. You knock on our door, we're there to help you. If you want us to 3D model something, that's what you do. Our job is to hold you by the hand and take you through the process. And at some stage, I mean, Fergal alluded to a kind of skills escalator. For us, it's great to see companies that we started as an innovation voucher to move up to KTP and to move up into higher echelons around, Innovate UK and other streams like that. So, and I mean, it's a testament to our own parent department, who need a congratulations department for the economy, who have invested and are continuing to invest in the estates of further education. But continually, it's, and you can imagine if you're a student coming to an institution like that and doing an apprenticeship and getting access that, in our case, in our Limavady Valley campus, the Product Development Centre sits on the Apprenticeship Training Centre. So the apprentices themselves are putting their head through the door and taking a look at manufacturing innovation, taking work and taking place as well.
Okay. Just, I'm conscious of time, and I know Elaine Flynn. Elaine's the chair of the FE Sector Engagement Working Group. Elaine, just before we finish off, have you anything to add? I know you do a lot of work.
Yeah, Mary, just really to thank yourself and Stephen for the opportunity to actually speak with the sector. As I say, I'm head of business engagement at Southeastern Regional College, but chair of the Economic Engagement Working Group for the sector. Leo did say, we do have a very mature relationship, so we're not working in silo anymore. We're all working in our own independent colleges, but we're working very much as a sector. And we've had some great examples there from Ryan and from Fergal and from Alistair about what we can do and the access to the funding streams. We're approaching it, as a sector as opposed to individual colleges. And if anyone comes to us with an issue or a training need, we can find, we can access any funding that's available to match whatever that skills or innovation need is. So it's just really to encourage anybody to make contact with us. And as Leo said, if the college on your doorstep doesn't have the solution, we can find it across the sector. So really just to finish on that, Mary, thank you.
Just as a final, if anyone's any other questions, just on that training need, a lot of companies would find it maybe difficult to get the time to assess their own training needs, like HR departments are flat out kind of firefighting different areas. Can the colleges help with those kind of skills gaps analysis within individual companies?
Very much so, Mary, and the initial meeting with many organisations starts with what we call our baseline audit, and that is your training needs analysis. And from that, we can sort of get the company details. We can do an analysis, and then we can signpost to the appropriate funding schemes and training solutions as well. So that's all part and parcel of the fully funded package.
Thank you. Stephen or anybody, any other questions? We don't see, we've never been in this position before where there's been no questions in the Q&A, but
no, it's just for me, Mary, to say thanks to all the participants and the presenters, and to yourself, Mary, for bringing this together. We're in very difficult days, and the only way we're going to get out of this is to work together. So a partnership with the colleges, I think, is critical. And on that invitation from Leo earlier to sign some sort of MOU, just send the forms through and we'll sign them straight away, Leo, no problem.
I'll leave them through. I'll drop them around your house this evening. But basically, as I say, from our end and from college, look, this is the first, we hope, of a number of engagement. And sometimes, Stephen, there's been nothing else at fault on either side simply by not having communication back and forth. And ironically, one of the things about this electronic piece, I'm looking at the numbers, we'd have found it difficult to get 30 plus people into a centre today in Belfast to listen to us, quite simply because they're very busy with their day jobs. So these kind of updated skills pieces are stuff we want to continue to do. And you may come back to us and say, look, we want a pure session on mechatronics, we want a pure session on this to know, and we'll be happy to facilitate. And for you, you're able to go into government and our own parent department and say, the colleges are here, they're for us, we're working well together. And it's the same we want to do with the hospitality and with all the sectors. I mean, what further education does is people say, what's the main strapline of a college? Is we say, find you a job, and if you've got a job, find you a better job. And that's our economic and social strength. And we're well positioned in communities across Northern Ireland to make that happen. So thank you, Mary, thank you, Stephen, and thank you to your membership, and thank you to our team, Elaine, Ryan, Alistair, Connor there doing the roll it there, rushing in the background, I think, keeping it all going, as I used to say on the Late Late Show. And say thank to Dr. Fergal, who had to drop off. So thanks from your end.
Thanks very much, Leo.
Thank you. Just final thanks as well to Manufacturing NI, and look forward to continue working with the 6 colleges. And again, as just said, to all our participants, we will send a copy of the recording and all the slides with with all the kind of the signposting details in the next couple of days. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.